She can't explain it, but these 7 moves drive her wild. Psychology tricks. The way you move tells her everything your words never could. Unknown. Most men don't realize it, but women are quietly taking in everything. Not just your words, but the way your eyes move, the rhythm of your gestures, the quiet confidence or tension in your body. Every subtle shift speaks volumes. Here's the surprising part. Some of these unconscious movements don't just catch her attention, they captivate her. They bypass logic and spark something deep and emotional. They make her lean in, intrigued, wondering, what is it about him? See, many guys think attraction is built through flash, expensive clothes, big talk, or showy confidence. But what truly draws a woman and isn't noise? It's presence. It's that calm, grounded energy that says, I'm exactly where I belong. Today, we'll uncover 6 quiet, often overlooked gestures that drive women wild, the kind of moves that make you stand out without even trying. Once you understand them, every room you walk into, every glance you share will feel different. Stay with me, this might just change the way you carry yourself forever. Number 7, the slow head tilt, the presence anchor. Don't underestimate this small, almost invisible move. That subtle, slow tilt of your head when you're truly listening isn't random. It's a quiet storm inside female psychology. It tells her something no words can. I'm here, I see you, and I'm not going anywhere. It's not just curiosity. It's emotional openness dressed in stillness, trust wrapped in calm confidence. In the world of psychology tricks, this one's deceptively simple yet devastatingly effective. When you slightly angle your head, not too much, not forced, it mirrors something primal, something written in the code of our emotional DNA. Babies tilt their heads to connect, to signal safety, to invite warmth. Women, without even realizing it, are wired to respond to that same gesture. It's the subconscious whisper of safety, the invisible cue that awakens her instinct to relax, to trust, to lean closer. Neuroscientists call this the caregiver response, an automatic surge of empathy that makes her feel grounded around you. That's not just science, that's emotional art. Be aware of the second layer, because that's where the magic deepens. The slow tilt isn't only about comfort, it's about attention. Real attention. It's the look that says, I'm not just hearing words. I'm reading your soul between the pauses. In the language of female psychology, that head tilt becomes a rapport bridge, melting invisible walls, softening the air between you. It tells her she's not just being looked at, she's being understood. And in a world where most people listen only to talk next, a man who listens to feel next, he's rare, unforgettable. He becomes the calm in the noise. That's presence, and presence is power. So don't fake it. Don't force it. Let your head follow your attention naturally. Be curious. Be still. Let your body echo what your mind feels, connection. Because women notice when your attention wavers. They feel it like a sudden drop in warmth. Keep that energy anchored, keep your presence real. That is the secret most men miss. Among the many psychology tricks that claim to spark attraction, this one doesn't manipulate, it magnetizes. It speaks in silence, and silence, when laced with authenticity, is louder than words. The slow head tilt says everything without saying anything. It's trust without touch, intimacy without intent, power without pressure. So the next time she talks, let your body speak first. Tilt gently. Listen deeply. Because when she feels seen, not just watched, you've already won half the game. Number 6, the single eyebrow raise, the micro challenge. Let's get this straight. This move is pure magic. 1 eyebrow, 1 second, 1 electric spark. That brief lift, that tiny curve of expression, carries more weight than a dozen clever lines. When she says something daring, teasing, or unexpected, you respond, not with words, but with a single, deliberate eyebrow raise. It's your unspoken, oh really? You're going there. And suddenly, the air between you crackles. You've just created playful tension, the kind that makes her heart skip. It's not judgmental. It's not mocking. It's confident, controlled, mysterious. This tiny gesture says, I'm intrigued, but not impressed yet. And that, my friend, is the sweet spot every high-value man must learn to master. Psychologists call it a micro-challenge, a flash of subtle resistance wrapped in amusement. It tells her she can't just waltz into your emotional space. She has to earn her way in. And that's exactly what makes her want to. It's a test, a tease, and a dance all at once. That's the secret behind how to fall in love, not by chasing, but by inviting pursuit. Think about it. Most men nod like bobbleheads. They agree too quickly. They laugh too easily. They bend to please. But the man who pauses, raises an eyebrow, and holds his gaze a moment longer, he shifts the entire dynamic. He's saying without words, I'm not like the others. You'll have to work for my attention. That's the hallmark of a high-value man, self-assured, unhurried, and unshakably composed. Robert Greene called this strategic tension in the art of seduction. You're not being passive, you're being deliberate. You're engaging her mind, not just her eyes. You're showing her that attraction isn't about what you say, it's about what you suggest. The eyebrow raise is a whisper, not a shout. It says, I see you. I'm intrigued. But you haven't won me yet. And here's the warning, don't overdo it. Use it too often and you'll look cartoonish, like an overacting villain in a bad movie. Do it when the moment calls for it. After a witty comment. After a daring joke. Pause. Raise. Smile, slow and confident. That's it. That's your move. Master it and you'll wield one of the oldest tools of human attraction, silent, powerful, and utterly magnetic. It's how mystery is born. It's how confidence speaks louder than words. And ultimately, it's how to fall in love, not through grand gestures, but through the smallest, most deliberate spark in your eyes. Number 5, the calm lean, the true intimacy gateway. This isn't a trick or a gimmick. It's a display of mastery, of control, of masculine energy expressed through calm confidence. The slow, deliberate lean isn't about invading her space. It's about owning yours. It's the art of quiet dominance, the kind that speaks louder than words. As Bruce Lee once said, calm mind brings inner strength and self-confidence. When you lean in slowly, not rushing, not hesitating, you tell her without words that you are a man who moves with purpose. You attract women not by chasing, but by creating gravity, emotional, magnetic gravity. Neuroscience backs this up. That subtle movement, done right, triggers oxytocin, the bond builder, the same chemical that deepens trust and attraction. But it only happens when your intent is genuine, when your body language says, I'm here to connect, not to conquer. Do it too soon and her instincts flare. Do it too forcefully and you destroy the moment. The secret? Patience, timing, awareness. Wait until she's engaged, her eyes lock, her tone softens, the energy shifts, then move 2 inches closer. Not more, not less, just enough to make the air electric. Suddenly, the world shrinks to the space between you. Everything else disappears. That's when she feels it, that pull she can't explain. That's the moment where attraction transforms into connection. Don't underestimate the power of stillness. In a world obsessed with noise, movement, and instant gratification, restraint has become a lost art. But real men, men who radiate masculine energy, know that silence can be louder than a shout. As the great Viktor Frankl said, between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space lies our power to choose our response. That's what the calm lean is, that powerful space between doing nothing and doing too much. Don't fidget. Don't rush. Don't let nervousness steal your presence. Breathe. Hold. Let her feel the steadiness of a man who knows who he is. Because when you exude that quiet confidence, you attract women without effort. It's instinctive. It's primal. And it's unforgettable. Let's make one thing clear. This isn't manipulation. It's mastery. You're not trying to trick her emotions. You're aligning your energy with hers. You must understand that attraction thrives in balance, strength with softness, control with curiosity, power with patience. The calm lean embodies that duality. That is the signal of emotional intelligence combined with raw confidence. So don't lean with fear. Don't lean to prove. Lean to connect. Lean to show that you are present, grounded, and unshakable. Do it right, and she won't just feel your masculine energy, she'll be drawn into it, unable to explain why. That is how you attract women in the modern world, not by chasing them, but by mastering yourself. Victory doesn't belong to the man who moves fast. It belongs to the man who moves with purpose. Number 4, the jaw or chin touch, the silent thinker signal. Ever caught yourself resting a finger on your chin mid-conversation, lost in thought? That simple, quiet move speaks louder than words. Women see it and they feel it. Don't underestimate how deep female psychology runs when it comes to subtle gestures like this. You're not fidgeting, you're reflecting, and that reflection radiates power. It's calm, controlled, confident. It whispers, I'm present, I'm processing, I'm not desperate for approval. And that is magnetic. You must understand this isn't just a random habit. It's one of those rare psychology tricks that plays straight into her subconscious wiring. The jawline, evolutionarily speaking, is a billboard for testosterone. When your fingers trace it, whether you realize it or not, you're sending a primal signal. You're not flaunting, you're showing quiet strength. Female psychology reads that as leadership, depth, and emotional grounding. She might not be able to explain it, but her instincts light up. It's attraction disguised as curiosity. Now here's the twist. It's not just the touch, it's the timing. When you pause, eyes steady, fingers grazing your jaw as if decoding life's next move, she's pulled into your thought process. Don't rush it. Don't break that silence too soon. That pause, that microsecond of mystery, is where her imagination runs wild. Be deliberate. Be composed. Let her see that you value the moment enough to think before you speak. In a world full of noise, that stillness becomes seductive. You're not trying to impress, you're making her lean in, waiting for your next word like it's a secret meant just for her. That's what psychology tricks are really about, guiding emotion without saying a word. You're not manipulating, you're mastering the art of awareness. Christopher Canwell's Atomic Attraction nails this truth. The men who make women feel safe and intrigued aren't the loudest. They're the ones who appear effortlessly grounded. When you let a pause breathe, when your jawline catches the light just right, when your silence feels intentional, that's confidence at work. That's masculine composure. Don't hide it. Own it. Because the real mystery doesn't shout. It simmers beneath the surface, slow and steady, until she finds herself drawn in, and she can't quite explain why. And that, my friend, is the power of understanding female psychology, not to control her, but to connect with the unspoken rhythm that pulls her closer. Number 3, the pause before speaking, the alphabet. This one's criminally underrated. Most men fear silence. They rush to fill every gap as if quiet means weakness, as if stillness betrays insecurity. But here's the truth. A man who pauses before he speaks radiates something women can't quite name, but they feel it. It's authority. It's confidence. It's mystery. That pause, just a heartbeat, says you're composed. You're not chasing approval or validation. You're not trying to impress. You're already impressive. You must understand, the man who controls the rhythm of the conversation controls the room. A UCLA study proved it. People who take that small moment before replying are seen as more intelligent, more trustworthy, and yes, more attractive. That pause becomes your secret weapon in learning how to fall in love dynamics, not by saying more, but by saying less. But here's the deeper layer most never realize. This isn't about silence, it's about tension. You're breaking the rhythm others expect. When you pause, you create what psychologists call anticipation tension, a quiet magnetic pull that draws her in. She starts leaning closer, eyes fixed, waiting for your words. You haven't said a thing, but you've already said everything. That moment of stillness is the same psychological trick casinos use before revealing the slot machine's result. That tiny delay? It spikes dopamine. It makes the outcome feel more thrilling, more addictive. You must use that same pause to make your presence addictive. That's how a high-value man speaks, with purpose, patience, and power. Now, imagine layering that pause with movement, subtle, deliberate movement. Slightly open your palms, or press your fingertips together as if considering something important. That gesture signals composure and command. It's body language whispering, I'm not reacting, I'm responding. That's the essence of a high value man. He doesn't rush. He doesn't stumble over his words. He chooses them. He lets silence do half the talking. Don't underestimate it. Don't break the pause out of nervousness. Be still. Be measured. Be deliberate. Because in that small space between thought and speech, you become magnetic. That's the kind of calm that can quiet a room before you even open your mouth. That's the kind of energy that keeps her replaying your words long after you've gone. That's how to fall in love, not by chasing, but by commanding attention through presence. So remember, speak less, pause more. Let silence spear punctuation. Because sometimes, what you don't say is what she'll never forget. Number 2, the steady eye lock, the gravity of presence. They say the eyes are the windows to the soul. True, but most men never learn how to open them. They look without really seeing. And that's where everything begins to change. The steady eye lock isn't about staring her down like a predator sizing up prey. It's not dominance. It's depth. It's the kind of gaze that holds space, calm, grounded, unwavering. When your eyes stay steady, unhurried, you communicate something ancient, something primal, certainty. You're not asking for approval. You're not waiting for her next move. You're simply there, completely present. That's the gravity of a high-value man, someone who knows who he is and doesn't need to prove it. And women feel that. Oh, they feel it deeply. In psychology, this phenomenon is known as mutual attunement, the invisible rhythm that connects two nervous systems. It's the dance of breath and heartbeat, subtle yet powerful. When your gaze is steady, her body begins to mirror yours without realizing it. Her breathing aligns. Her pulse slows. Her shoulders drop. You've created what I call emotional gravity. She feels seen, not watched. Desired, not pursued. Safe, not cornered. That's the difference between a man who's simply confident and one who knows how to fall in love, not through words, but through energy. Because here's the truth, chemistry isn't built by charm. It's built by presence. Less force. More stillness. Don't dart your eyes like you're scanning for exits. Don't fidget. Don't overplay the mystery. Instead, soften your gaze. Be focused, but not sharp. Blink naturally. Breathe slowly. Let your expression show quiet curiosity, not performance. When your energy shifts from look at me to I see you, everything transforms. That's when she begins to feel that pull, the unspoken connection she can't quite explain. The kind that lingers long after you've left the room. She won't tell her friends it was your looks or your words. She'll just say, there was something about him. That something is presence. And presence is power. Your steady gaze tells her subconscious that you're safe, not needy, not reactive, not scattered. You're a man anchored in himself. A high-value man doesn't chase validation. He radiates composure. And that composure makes her nervous system relax. She feels drawn in without knowing why. It's not about the eyes. It's about what's behind them, your stillness, your self-trust, your quiet confidence. That's what makes her pulse quicken. That's what makes her start wondering about you later that night. Presence is the most seductive energy on earth. You can't fake it. You can't rush it. You must be it. Don't overthink it. Don't perform. Just breathe. Look. See. Because the eyes don't seduce, presence does. And presence begins with stillness. Be that calm in the storm. Be that man whose gaze doesn't waver, whose energy doesn't demand, it draws. That's the gravity she can't resist. And when she feels it, she won't understand why, only that she wants more. That's the quiet art of attraction, the psychology of connection, and the secret of how to fall in love without saying a single word. Number 1, the controlled smile, the warm authority. Not every smile carries power. Some men flash a grin too quickly, begging for approval. Others lock their expression, afraid to appear weak. But the man who masters the controlled smile, the warm authority, radiates balance. It's slow. It's measured. It's genuine. It's a silent message of confidence. I'm secure enough to be kind. That calm, deliberate curve doesn't chase validation. It commands it. As Dale Carnegie once said, a smile costs nothing, but creates much. In a world full of men trying too hard, the one who smiles with purpose stands apart. Women feel it before they understand it. This is psychology in action, the mind's unspoken dance. That subtle movement of your lips, when real and grounded, triggers her subconscious on two primal levels: safety and challenge. It tells her this man is both protector and mystery. That's the essence of masculine energy: steady, certain, untamed, yet in control. Science confirms it. Authentic micro-expressions of joy activate mirror neurons in her brain, releasing oxytocin, the same chemical that fuels connection and trust. When your controlled smile meets her gaze, you don't just attract women, you awaken a deeper response. She feels your presence, not your performance. In that second, she leans into the calm strength you project. It's no act, it's energy, real masculine energy. That's what she can't explain, but she can't resist either. It's not the smile of a boy trying to please, it's the composure of a man who already knows his worth. As the great psychologist Carl Jung said, the privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. And that's the secret. The controlled smile reveals you've done that inner work. You're not faking confidence, you're confidence. Don't overuse it. Power loses value when it's shown too often. Smile when you mean it, when you're amused, engaged, or moved. Let it emerge from genuine emotion, not from a need to be liked. Because the man who performs for approval chases, the man who smiles from stillness attracts. Women don't fall for desperation, they fall for dominance wrapped in calm. They fall for the man who doesn't need to prove himself because he already embodies strength. That's the magnetism of masculine energy, quiet but commanding. When you master it, you no longer try to attract women. Your presence does it for you. Every glance, every breath, every slight smile reinforces your control of yourself, and that, in turn, draws her closer. Let's make this clear. The controlled smile isn't about charm, it's about certainty. It's about knowing exactly who you are and letting that truth radiate through a single expression. You must understand that women don't crave perfection, they crave presence. They crave the man who can make them feel safe and excited in the same heartbeat. That is power. That is mastery. So don't fake it. Don't rush it. Don't hide it. Learn it. Live it. Own it. As James Allen wrote, calmness is power. The man who holds that power commands attention without force, influence without words, attraction without effort. The controlled smile is your silent victory. It's your signal to the world that you've arrived, not as a man seeking approval, but as one who leads through presence, confidence, and unwavering masculine energy. The hand steeple, the silent power move. Picture this. You're in a conversation making a point, and while your tone is steady and confident, your fingertips come together softly, forming a shape like a small steeple. That's not by chance. That's skilled body language, and most men don't even realize when they're doing it. This motion is known as the hand steeple, and it's one of the most subtle yet powerful ways to show confidence without using a single word. Why does it work so well? Because it takes up space without looking aggressive. Because it makes your hand movements intentional, not nervous. And because it forces you to slow down, grounding your energy in the moment. This isn't some random twitch or restless habit. It's calculated calmness. It's the kind of controlled body language you see from CEOs during million-dollar meetings and from charismatic men during intimate conversations. When you use the steeple gesture while speaking, especially when making a key point, something interesting happens. You seem more commanding. Your words hit harder. And even more importantly, you create a visual sign of presence, something that women subconsciously associate with leadership. But that's not the only layer to it. There's a quiet subconscious link to prayer in that gesture. The steeple hints at depth, thought, and mystery. And mystery, Amelia, is one of the strongest sources of attraction. We're naturally drawn to men who seem reflective because, in evolutionary terms, men who could think deeply were better at solving problems, leading tribes, and staying calm in chaos. Just one small warning, though. Avoid doing the reverse steeple, The one with fingers pointing down like a movie villain plotting something. That comes off as arrogant and even a bit unsettling. Stick to the classic form. Fingertips pressed together, elbows relaxed, words measured. It's elegant, it's masculine, and it quietly says, I know who I am, and I have nothing to prove. The shoulder shrug plus smirk combo. There's also the shoulder shrug and smirk combo, one of the most playful forms of flirtation you can pull off. You want to know what really gets a woman's attention? It's not exaggerated charm. It's a mix of contradictions done right. Imagine giving a light one shoulder shrug, almost like you're saying, and maybe, and then pairing it with a tiny, knowing smirk. That's it. Instant flirtation. It's like your body is saying, it's not a big deal, while your face adds, or maybe it is. That contrast drives women crazy because it creates what psychologists call flirt tension, the sweet spot between confidence and fun. The shrug says, I'm relaxed. I'm not trying too hard. The smirk says, but I know I'm interesting. And maybe you are too. Together, they create a dynamic that's nearly impossible to ignore. According to Dominic Mann, author of Flirt Like a Pro, gestures like this trigger a push-pull effect, making the interaction feel like a dance instead of an interview. That's the secret too many guys miss. They either overdo it or do nothing at all. But this combo lands right in the middle. Chill but alert, funny but self-assured, charming but never needy. Here's something to remember. A double shoulder shrug usually looks uncertain or dismissive. But a single, smooth shoulder lift paired with a small smirk? That's confidence wrapped in playfulness. And even if the woman doesn't react immediately, it stays in her mind because it made her feel something light, playful, and a bit flirty. That's what makes it unforgettable. The real lesson revealed. Here's the truth most men miss. The real lesson behind all of this isn't about faking charm or playing games. It's not about rehearsed gestures or memorized lines. Forget the idea that you need to perform to impress a woman. That's the rookie mistake. What actually moves her, what triggers that instinctive pull she can't explain, comes from something far deeper. It's born from your calm, your confidence, your unshakable sense of presence. That's where real attraction begins, and that's where the most powerful psychology tricks come to life. When you're grounded, when your energy says, I'm here and I know who I am, her subconscious feels it instantly. You're no longer competing for attention, you're commanding it without a word. Don't mistake that for arrogance. This isn't about dominance or trying too hard to project power. Be real. Be steady. That is what taps directly into female psychology, the part of her that responds not to words, but to emotional frequency. Your gestures, your pauses, your relaxed smile, they tell a story long before your mouth opens. Women notice everything. The way your eyes hold contact, the rhythm of your breathing, the ease in your body language. These are silent signals that bypass logic and speak directly to her instincts. She may not consciously register them, but they work like invisible magnets. That's not manipulation, it's alignment. It's understanding how psychology tricks aren't tricks at all, but the natural language of human connection. So ask yourself honestly, how many of these quiet signals are you already sending without realizing it? And which ones have you ignored or rushed past because you thought words were more important? Don't underestimate your presence. It's your most powerful tool. You must learn to control it, not by force, but by awareness. Be intentional with every movement. Be slow when others rush. Be calm when the world gets loud. That's how a man separates himself from the noise. That's how he becomes the kind of presence a woman feels even after he's gone. Remember, this isn't about tricks, it's about truth. It's about learning to embody the kind of self-respect that doesn't need validation. When you walk into a room, your energy announces you before you speak. When you listen, your stillness commands attention. When you smile, not because you have to, but because you mean it, she senses authenticity, and that authenticity speaks louder than any pickup line ever could. Female psychology isn't complicated, it's simply tuned to honesty. A woman may not always know why she's drawn to you, but she'll feel it. That's the art of presence, the most subtle and powerful of all psychology tricks. Now, pause for a second and think. How often do you let your natural confidence shine, unfiltered and unforced? And what would change if you practiced that awareness deliberately every day? Don't just rush through this. Reflect. Because awareness isn't built overnight, it's built through repetition, reflection, and courage. The more you understand yourself, the more magnetic you become to others. If this message stirred something in you, let it sink in. Share your thoughts, your experiences, your insights, because your story might just spark someone else's growth. And if this perspective gave you a glimpse of something new, hit that like button, subscribe to Stoicism Win, and turn on all notifications. You won't want to miss what's coming next. In the next video, we'll break down the 7 silent signals women use when they're quietly testing your confidence, and more importantly, how to meet those tests with calm power and quiet certainty. Until then, stay grounded, stay aware, and own every moment you move through. Confidence isn't noise, it's presence, and the world and she can always feel it.